Some stories don't start with a fairy tale kiss. They begin with silence, hesitation, and secrets. Today, we're diving into one of the most emotionally tangled periods in the life of Hailey and Justin Bieber, a moment where love, loyalty, and timing all collided. But what made this chapter even messier? The presence of someone unexpected, Shawn Mendes. Let's rewind to a point just before Justin and Hailey's wedding. Things were not picture perfect. There was tension, emotional distance, and a courting. To Hailey herself, one moment that nearly destroyed everything. In a rare, raw confession to a pastor during an interview, Hailey admitted something that hit like a wrecking ball. She said with visible pain that she felt she had damaged the way Justin saw her. And Justin? He didn't hold back either. In his own words, "She hurt me. That wasn't just a fight. That was a fracture." And after that, they completely stopped speaking. No texts, no calls, just a deep silence between two people who once shared everything. This wasn't some petty celebrity drama. It was the kind of break that makes you question if love is even enough, and the only way forward? Total honesty, vulnerability, two people choosing to rebuild brick by emotional brick. But that wasn't the whole picture, because during that silent gap, there was another person quietly stepping into focus: Shawn Mendes. And suddenly, everything about their story changed. To most of the world, Hailey Baldwin was just Justin's future wife. But there was more to her story, something deeper, something people often ignored. Because while Justin was going through his own emotional spiral, after Selena, Hailey was building a quiet connection with someone else. Someone who was quickly becoming a superstar in his own right. Shawn Mendes. It started in 2017. A casual outing to Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights. Just two friends hanging out, right? Maybe, but then came another appearance, this time at a Halloween party hosted by Hailey and Kendall Jenner. The whispers got louder, and then Hailey began saying things in interviews, things that made people pause. She called Shawn amazing, praised his voice, his music. She glowed when she spoke about him. And when you add the photos, the two of them spotted together in Toronto, walking close, looking comfortable, it didn't take long before fans began connecting the dots. For Justin, watching this unfold from the sidelines couldn't have been easy. This wasn't a rumor on some gossip site. It was public. It was visible. It was real, but the moment that truly sent shockwaves across fandoms? The 2018 Met Gala, Hailey and Shawn walked the red carpet together. And the internet exploded because that moment wasn't just about fashion. It was a message. One Justin could never unsee. To understand why that Met Gala moment hit so hard, you have to rewind a bit to Justin's world before Hailey, before the tabloids, before the weddings. You have to understand the kind of heartbreak he was carrying. The kind that doesn't just go away with time or success. His breakup with Selena Gomez wasn't just another celebrity split. It was a cultural moment. And when it finally ended, he didn't heal quietly, he spiraled. Parties, distractions, avoidance, he admitted it all. But when his relationship with Hailey broke too, his reaction wasn't the same. He didn't run, he didn't mask it. He started to grow. That growth didn't go unnoticed. Friends close to Hailey began reaching out, telling her that Justin was changing, that he was different, that he wasn't the same reckless guy who left things broken. And for Hailey, who was still healing from their fallout, it hit like a wave she didn't expect. Because now she wasn't just remembering what hurt, she was seeing what could be. And yet, she was still standing next to Shawn, smiling, posing, glowing under the lights. The world saw a love story blossoming. But behind closed doors? It wasn't that simple, because sometimes the heart isn't a straight line. Sometimes it remembers what it wants even when it's trying to move on. From the outside, it looked like Hailey had found peace with Shawn Mendes. But fans who paid attention noticed something strange. Her tweets, normally polished or promotional, started sounding different, raw, scattered, like she was thinking out loud in front of millions. One moment she'd post something cute, lighthearted. The next, a cryptic line about overwhelming emotions. No names, no tags. Just a girl battling something private. In a very public space. Then came October 2017, one of those nights. The internet never forgets. T tweets. Just one word, cray. Same spelling, same day. One from Sean, one from Hailey. No explanation, no context. Fans immediately clocked it. A shared inside joke? A secret message? The internet lit up with theories. Because what happened next turned whispers into full-blown speculation. They were spotted together at a tattoo parlor that very night. Hailey got the number 22 inked her birth date. Sean got 8, his, matching tattoos. Permanent, painful, intimate. This wasn't just flirtation anymore. It was memory being etched into skin. And for Justin, that kind of closeness, that kind of timing must have hit like a punch to the chest. Because this wasn't just about losing someone. It was watching the person you once loved get tattooed with a chapter that didn't include you. It didn't stop there. The weeks that followed were a slow spiral of emotional breadcrumbs. Hailey's social media turned into a diary written in code. Tweets about being overwhelmed by feelings, about memories rushing back, about needing clarity. Some fans thought she was missing Justin. Others were convinced her heart was leaning into Sean, but no one could deny one thing: something was shifting. Beneath the surface. Then came May 2018, the Met Gala, the moment everything exploded. Hailey, Baldwin, and Shawn Mendes walked the red carpet together, side by side, smiling, dressed like a couple in a perfume ad. For the public, it was confirmation. The quiet rumors now had a face, a dress, a tuxedo, and 1,000 flashing cameras. They weren't just seen, they were announced. For Justin, watching that from the outside must have stung. Especially considering what came next, because within weeks the script flipped. Hailey was seen again. But this time with Justin. No statement, no explanation. Just a sharp pivot from red carpets with Sean to cozy strolls with her ex. And then in July 2018, the unthinkable happened. Justin Bieber proposed. 2 months. That's all it took to go from a Met Gala moment with Mendes to a ring from Bieber. And for fans, that timeline didn't just raise eyebrows, it cracked open a flood of questions. Was it love? Was it panic? Or was it a last-ditch effort to reclaim what had nearly slipped away? Because here's the thing, Justin doesn't move without emotion, and proposing that fast? After watching Hailey walk the red carpet with someone else? That wasn't just romance, that was urgency. That was fear. That was the realization that he might lose the one person who had quietly been there all along. Fans were divided. Was Hailey running back to comfort or forward into destiny? Did she truly move on from Sean? Or had she never really been all in to begin with? There was no breakup announcement. No clean ending with Sean. Just silence. Like a chapter torn from the book without warning. And that silence spoke volumes. Justin had his answer. A ring. A yes. And a wedding that followed soon after. But something about the timing, the mésalliances, the speed made it feel like their love story was built not on healing, but on interruption. What hurt more wasn't just the thought of betrayal. It was the possibility that Justin might have been the backup plan. The safe harbor. The one she returned to when another storm didn't calm her like she thought it would. And still, Justin stayed. That's the part people forget. He stayed, through the doubts, through the rumors, through the whispered comparisons. He didn't run, not this time, but staying doesn't mean forgetting. And love doesn't erase memory. Every couple has a ghost. For Justin and Hailey, it wasn't just Selena. It wasn't just the past. It was the question that kept hanging in the air like smoke. Was I ever your first choice? That doubt is quiet, but it's corrosive. Hailey, to her credit, didn't hide from it. She faced the weight of her own choices. She admitted to her pastor publicly that she believed she had broken something inside Justin. And when Justin later said, "She hurt me," it wasn't just about betrayal. It was about heartbreak that had no language, only silence, for months. They didn't speak, not out of hate, but because the trust, that invisible thread, had snapped. And rebuilding trust? That's not about flowers and date nights. That's about standing in front of someone you've wounded and saying, "I still choose you if you'll have me." And Justin did. Slowly, cautiously. But he did, because love, real love, is stubborn like that. But the story didn't end at heartbreak, because something else had started growing in the silence between them. Growth. Not the flashy kind that looks good on Instagram, but the raw, painful, real kind. The kind that happens when you're alone with your thoughts and no one's watching. Justin began working on himself. No more emotional band-aids, no more distractions. He faced his demons instead of running from them. He traded chaos for therapy, numbness for journaling, fame for faith. And the transformation didn't go unnoticed. Friends told Hailey, "He's different now." And that hit her in a way she didn't expect. Because healing doesn't always come when you're ready. Sometimes it comes when the person you once hurt is suddenly better, stronger, changed, and you realize you're still holding the version of them that existed in the fallout. But Hailey didn't just knock on the door again, she rebuilt the front porch. She showed up with more than apologies. She came with accountability, with maturity, with the willingness to sit in the discomfort and say, "Let's try again," not because we forgot what broke us, but because we finally understand what we're building. Still, some wounds don't fully close. Even now, there are whispers in the dark corners of fandoms and comment sections. Was Justin always Hailey's first choice? Or just the one who never walked away? It's the kind of question that doesn't have a headline or a press release. Just silence. A silence that feels louder when you remember the tattoos, the number 22 for her, 8 for him, permanently inked during a night that looked more like a memory than a mistake. The tweets, the Met Gala, the matching jokes, the chemistry that never needed confirmation. It wasn't just that Sean and Hailey shared moments. It was that those moments overlapped with timelines people had been watching for years. Timelines that already carried the weight of love, betrayal, and hope. And that's where it got messy, because even if Hailey didn't betray Justin in a way tabloids could print in bold font, emotionally there may have been a gray area, a space between loyalty and longing. A space that Justin had to step into and decide, do I trust her again? Do I trust myself? And somehow, he did. Whatever the truth was between Hailey and Sean, whatever words were said behind closed doors or left unsaid in passing glances, it left its mark. And that mark didn't fade when the ring went on. If anything, it etched itself into the foundation of Justin and Hailey's marriage. Because love, real love, doesn't just require passion. It demands confrontation with the past, with mistakes, with doubts that don't always go away just because vows were exchanged. Their union wasn't a fairy tale. It was a decision. A conscious choice to start over, not from scratch, but from the wreckage of what almost didn't survive. And that takes a kind of courage that goes beyond what the public ever sees. It meant forgiving what still hurt, trusting what once betrayed, and believing that the present could be strong enough to carry the weight of the past. Maybe that's why their story still captivates people, not because it's perfect, but because it's human. So now we leave you with a question, not about scandal, but about your own life. Have you ever loved someone enough to let them change, or enough to change for them? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because in the world of celebrity drama, the next chapter is always just one decision away.